And good afternoon, everyone. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, and this is the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG network. From now till 5, we are recording live, and if you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. We are recording now, and then we'll post it up on YouTube, so later you can go by and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, and that will take you to our QSO-VLOG page. Also today, we're running 4 Internet SDR receivers, monitoring Rochester, New York, Atlanta, Georgia, Alexandria, Virginia, and Milford, Pennsylvania, trying to get a better copy on our 100-watt friends. The audio of these 4 SDR receivers comes up on a 6-position rotary switch, and also on this switch is our local receiver. And today our local receiver is running 2 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas, one aimed north and south, the other east and west. They are selected by a 3-position rotary switch. The 3rd position is a co-phase option. Well, those are our working conditions. How about yours? This is KC9VKV, and this is the QSO-VLOG network. And yes, per usual, on Friday afternoons we open up the network and check in and see if Charlie K1GZL is on board. Charlie, you got a copy?
CL is on board. Charlie, you got a copy?
GZL, direct from your station. We're coming in 9 to 10 over 9. Which SDR are you copying better on, Jim? Go ahead.
Well, I'm copying you now on my magnetic loop antennas in the co-phase position. Roger, roger.
Okay, that's great. But you sound good. Here you are, direct recording.
You can go by and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, and then see if Charlie K1GZL is on board. Charlie, you got a copy? My magnetic loop antennas in the co-phase position. Roger, roger.
Okay, back to you, Jim. And I think you have quite a bit of rain heading in your direction. I would imagine, like here, it's overcast, although we don't expect any rain this evening. But I think we're going to have a lot of water coming down in the next hour or two over there near Louisville. KC9VKV, K1GZ Manel.
Roger, roger, Charlie. Well, we'll just have to wait and see. You know, rain is never a good thing on a magnetic loop antenna. Magnetic loop antennas tend to detune even if you just sneeze on them, let alone rain on them. So we shall see how far our mag loops drift out on the rain. You know, these are Armstrong mag loop antennas. They're not the auto motor driven kind of capacitor tuning. They are manually tuned, you know, and so I have tuned them this morning, and they're right on frequency, but obviously if it rains, that all goes out the window, and we start bailing water and going for other antennas, probably. Roger?
Roger, understand there, Jim. So, yeah, when it rains, my antennas are affected here, but that is pretty drastic. Of course, the loop antenna is so small compared to the frequency, that you know, any slip due to water or getting too far off frequency makes one whale of a difference, right?
Oh, roger that. Yeah, a mag loop antenna only has a few KC bandpass, and then the SWR rises astronomical as that as you get out of the bandpass. I mean, it's just a very, very high Q narrow dip, you know, and so when it rains, obviously that resonance peak shifts, and when it shifts out of the vicinity of 7188, even like 71 91 or thereabouts, it's only half as efficient as when it's right on frequency. But we shall see, and it'd be interesting experiment to see what we got to do. Roger?
Oh, yeah. Roger on that, Jim. So Yeah, so I don't have a tuner here. I really should. I really should have some kind of an antenna tuner, but unfortunately I don't. I really don't. And it's been my fault for a long time. Okay, so your audio is absolutely perfect, direct. You've got that. You've got your transmitter and everything exactly where you need it. It's perfect. I don't think, Jim, you would sound any different if you were sitting in the shack here talking to me directly. But the quality, your quality has always been excellent. Okay, Roger on everything. By the way, more than 95%, in a lot of cases 100% of the leaves have left the tree. All our trees, though, are softwood, spruce, and Christmas tree types and firs. Those, of course, you can see on my QRZ. I'll turn it back over to you. I don't want to hold this too long. KC9VKV, K1GZ, and an L.
Roger, Charlie. Well, I have checked all the SDRs, and I'm only copying you on my my mag loop and my mag loops, the dual. One is facing east and west, the other is north and south, and then when I put it in the co-phase position, you're like about 12 over, and not even on any of the other SDRs at all. So, something must be working right on those magnetic loops, Roger.
No, definitely. The conditions were very weird this morning earlier. I was working BK3MO in Melbourne, or northwest of Melbourne, Australia, about 50 miles. And he was okay, but he was down in signal a bit. And yet we had a very good short skip in. I was talking to WA3 Ontario, who you've worked, Mike out there just on the east side of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And he was just blasting in here. But Ian down in Australia was saying there was a bit of a magnetic disturbance this morning, and that probably may be why you're having trouble picking me up on the other SDRs, Jim. Go ahead.
Roger. Well, I don't need them at the moment because that last transmission you were 15 over on my mag loops. So you have no need for the SDRs for Charlie on this afternoon. Roger.
Okay. Well, that's nice to know. That's nice to know. At least we're getting out of Clarksville here in northern New Hampshire. It's working a little bit. Okay, Jim. By the way, we've had no snow this month so far. I've never seen us go so late in October without any snow. I've never seen that, and I moved up here in 1982. So that's just incredible. Okay, Jim, I'll give you a chance to work other stations, but could be some long skip in here, and the shorter skip is out. But I'm surprised you're not picking me up in Atlanta because I think that's about the same distance from here as you are, about the same distance. Except directly at you, just northwest of Louisville, Kentucky, in southern Indiana. I'm aimed right at you. But if the band isn't good, what can you do? The power's down a bit because I have a bad SWR up on this frequency. 70, I think I'm putting out 900 watts, a little over. Normally I run at 1400, 1450, down on 7153. Jim, a pleasure as always. We'll try to make it next Friday. KC9VKV, K1GZ.
Roger, Charlie. Thank you so much for your recordings and letting us know how we're sounding up that way. And I did check some of the other SDRs while you were in that last transmission, and they were way down. I think Atlanta was somewhere around, you were about a 5 over or 4 over their noise level. So by far and away the best reception was our own two 10-foot magnetic loop antennas in the co-phase position. So we'll say threes, Charlie. Thanks for participating, and thanks for all the heads up on the propagation. We appreciate that each Friday afternoon to let us know exactly what's going on. So hopefully we'll see you next Friday, Roger.
Roger. Yeah, you're barreling in 10:15 over 9 direct with the magnetic loop. Okay. By the way, once we get on standard time, that's on, I guess, the 3rd, on Sunday morning, the 3rd. At this hour, the band will have longer skip because sunset will be sooner. So you won't have as much short skip there, Jim. Okay, the very, very best to you, and again, here's how you sound.
The other SDRs at all, so we're way down. I think Atlanta was somewhere around, you were about a 5 over or 4 over the noise level. So by far and away the best reception was our own two 10-foot magnetic loop antennas in the co-phase position.
Okay, Jim, I hope you heard that, and we'll catch you next Friday, and have a good week. KC9VKV, K1GZL.
Roger, Charlie. Threes up that way, sir, and have a great weekend. And this is the QSO-VLOG network. From now until 5, we record live. If you've got a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. Like I say, we are recording between now and 5, and also if you have a radio that you need a little assistance in tuning up the transmitter, we do that also. So this is KC9VKV listening.
Victor Echo 3, Baker, Lima Baker.
The Echo 3 station, come back with the call sign again, slowly, phonetically.
Yeah, Victor Echo 3, Baker, Lima, Baker. David in Eastern Ontario, Canada, over.
Was that David?
Yes, sir.
Roger, David. What radio are you running today, sir?
I was quite fascinated to run across somebody who, with a magnetic loop antenna with a big signal. You were 10 to 20 over 9. On my 4-element inverted D array. I'm in Pembroke, Ontario, which is right on the Quebec border, approximately 250 miles northeast from Toronto. We're running the ICOM 735 into the Ford Tube Ameritron, about 650 watts out, over.
Roger, David. Now, to clear up the air there, we are transmitting on our inverted V dipole. We are transmitting on an inverted V dipole. We did a pretty extensive test when we built our first 10-foot magnetic loop antenna, and we did AV comparisons to Milford, PA as one, which is about 600 miles away. And we AB'd those two antennas, the inverted V and the 10-foot magnetic loop. And most often, the inverted V was a heavier signal than the 10-foot mag loop. Occasionally, the 10-foot mag loop would be hotter, but only occasionally. It was usually either a tie or the inverted V was S unit or so hotter than the mag loop. So we decided that maybe we would let the inverted V take the transmit side, and we would use the mag loops as primary receiving antennas. Roger.
Fine business indeed. Well, 2 years ago, I spent every waking minute of my time reading about magnetic loop antennas. Went down to the salvage yard and got a whole pile of 3/4-inch copper and optimized one for 17 meters with a manually adjusted variable capacitor, and I made a couple of contacts in the Washington State with that, and I was rather impressed. I was running 100 watts into it, and it would knock out it would turn my fluorescent lights on in the house. So I disbanded the whole thing because I have enough property here for full-size antennas. But in fact, I ordered a vacuum variable from Russia, and when I tested it, it was only about 35 microfarads. It must have had a leak in it or something. I didn't bother sending it back. It's just an ornament on the fireplace now. Now, I'm going to get out of here because I got things to do, but I appreciate the time with you this afternoon. I keep a paper logbook. I didn't get your name. I wear hearing aids, and I didn't get your call sign either. Over. This is David, Victor Echo 3, Baker, Lima Baker. Over.
Roger, David. The call sign here is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, KC9VKV. The name is Jim, Juliet India Mike, and we're located just across the Ohio River from Louisville, Kentucky. We're on the Indiana side of the Ohio River, right at Louisville. And yeah, our test on the mag loop was conducted at a kilowatt, and also a kilowatt on the inverted V. We did kind of develop our tuning capacitor out of a red gold tomato can and a regular size can of cut green beans, and we had some silicone mat that we cut up and wrapped around the little can inside the big can, and it was just like an accordion. You would open it up or close it down depending on what you needed to get the frequency. First time I fired it up, it was at 8 megahertz, and it didn't take me long to take that down to 7.188 megahertz, which is this frequency. And I found that I could QSO about an hour and a half with that capacitor, and or more. But after an hour and a half, I went out and checked, and it was only slightly warm. So our red gold tomato tuning capacitor worked really well. Roger, Roger.
Yeah, terrific, Jim. I tried the sliding stainless steel too. I tried that with some, I think I used the plastic that goes on a shower curtain rod as an insulator, and I got a little frustrated with that. I still have the mag loop, which is soldered to a brass plate. It sits in the garage. I move it around from time to time when I'm moving the car into the garage, but we may get back at fooling with them again. I don't know, did you make any transmissions on that? Because when I first stumbled across you, when you were talking with Charlie, and by the way, I could not hear Charlie on any of my 3 40-meter antennas. There was times you were 10 over S9, or was all your transmission on the inverted D, Jim? KC9VKV, Victor Echo 3, Baker, Lima Baker.
Roger, Roger. David, the transmissions are coming off of the inverted V. We have our mag loops coming in through a relay that automatically mutes them when I go into transmit to keep the stray RF receiving out of the mag loops coming back in the receiver. So we do mute our mag loops in transmit. Roger?
Well, you know what? I tell you why they would be ideal for me. I have tremendous, unsolvable noise in my area. A lot of it's coming from 3 transformers that power up the curling club and the swimming pool, which is less than 400 feet away from my house. They also installed LED streetlights, which I have three along my property line, and the power supplies give off a tremendous hash. I've tried various receiving antennas and have never succeeded at getting rid of the noise. In fact, the noise is so bad it completely eliminates my ability to get a 160 meters, even though I've got a top-loaded T array. The noise is 20 over 9 all the time. So a mag loop would be the answer for me, Jim. Over.
Roger that. And also those lights that you were talking about on your perimeter, are they from the power company, or are those yours?
No, they belong to Pembroke Utility.
Roger. Well, they should be responsible. You know, you are an authorized communications system or radio for by the government, so you should be able to put a little pressure on those guys to take care of generating spurious emissions and RFI. Roger.
Yes, I've read some interesting articles. One of the brands, Philips, and I must say these are Philips, were notoriously horrendous for giving off RFI. Now, I talked to the white hat, and this is really funny. I said, his name was Jim. No, his name was Charles. I said, Charles, if I take a portable radio and dial down to 530 and walk around the curling club, all I hear is zzz, 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 and it's coming off those transformers. He changed all the pole line hardware, and he said, we spent 3 hours up there changing pole line hardware. I said, well, thank you, but you did nothing. I said, all you had to do is take the line check AM radio and turn it down to 530. You would have heard that you corrected something at all. I was going to, I was very sick with melanoma cancer, so I kind of got away from radio for a bit, but I'm thinking of calling up Charlie again and saying, how about putting the halogen lights back on my property here, because they were noise-free except when they'd overheat and shut down, which they do periodically. But that's a good idea. I must go back and argue with them some more, Jim. Thanks for the time. I got to get out of here. Have a great weekend. KC9VKV, V3BLB.
Roger, Roger, David. Lots of luck. Hopefully, you will be have a positive outcome if you complain enough. So anyway, we'll say threes, David. Thanks for dropping by, and you have a great weekend. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, and the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG network. If you've got a radio you want to check out the audio, give us a shout. We are recording now live till 5.
November 9, Charlie, Delta, Delta.
November 9, Charlie, Delta, Delta.
Roger, Roger. November 9, Charlie, Delta, Delta. Name is Steve, and my QTH is Ashland, Wisconsin, northern part of the state of Wisconsin.
Roger, Roger. What radio are you running, Steve?
Yaesu FTGX 1200.
Was that STDX or STX?
Fox Tango Delta X-Ray 1200.
Roger, that sounds good. Sounds good. Tell me about your antenna system, sir.
Yes, I'm running a 4-band trap vertical, a Hustler 4-band trap vertical, and it's located about 30 feet away from my ham shack.
All right, I've looked at your audio. You could stand a little activity there, fattening up some if you would be interested. Usually we're looking to come up with about a 3 dB dynamic range. Your transmission last looked to be about 7 or 8 dB. So what we would like to do is close that up and make it fatter. And with our system, by the end, you will have a 3 dB dynamic range, and you will not be able to hear any of the items working. It will be very transparent, and it starts with the compressor, and we suggest running that at just a minimum 3, 1 out of 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100, just about a third of the compression capability. Roger.
Roger, Roger. Is that the processor level?
Correct, the compressor. Roger.
Yes, I'm at 30 right now.
Okay, and then we suggest going to your ALC and adjusting your ALC by using the mic gain. Adjust the ALC to run the mid-scale to 2/3. Run that ALC mid-scale to 2/3. Roger?
Roger, Roger, and I'm running right now just under mid-scale.
Roger, I would take it on up to between the mid-scale and 2/3. Somewhere in there, that is you're working on your limiter there, and that's part of the fattening process of running that ALC mid-scale to 2/3. Roger.
Roger, Roger. I just turned up my mic gain to 65, and it doesn't seem to make a difference on my ALC scale.
It looked pretty good here, but I would take it on up a little bit. Like I say, you don't want to approach the red. You don't want to be in the red, but you want to run between the mid-scale and 2/3. Roger?
Roger, Roger. I now have it at 75, and it's at mid-scale, but it doesn't go up any higher than that.
Oh, looks good. It looks good. Now, you adjusting your mic level, Roger?
Roger, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. Okay, and let me hear you just a little bit more, and we'll talk about EQ. Tell me about your radio.
Okay, I have a Yaesu FTGX 1200, and I'm running that in the 4-band trap vertical. I was on last week with you, and I was totally confused about what I was looking at, so I did my homework as you suggested, so hopefully you can steer me in the right direction today.
Oh, excellent, excellent, thank you. Sometimes it's really difficult to help folks that have no concept of their radio. That's the unfortunate thing. One has to have the grasp of their radio, to be able to adjust it actually. So you're sounding good. If you could, I would like to hear 2 more clicks, treble boost on your EQ, 2 more from wherever you are, 2 more boost from your treble EQ, Roger?
Okay, would that be the mid frequency or the lower the treble? The treble is the high one.
Correct, and it is the equalization. We're talking equalization here. Hopefully later on we'll be talking about bandpass, and in the bandpass area you want to be 100 to 2900. Roger.
Roger. I think I'm sitting at 3,000 with that right now.
Okay, and have you just made your adjustment on the top end EQ?
Roger, that's at it was sitting at 3,000, and I'm at the gain is 8, and the bandwidth is 7.
Sounds good. I think you got it there, and it's fatter. You know, we're looking for that 3 dB, which interpolates to between 80 and 85% average peak modulation. Roger.
Roger.
And also, if you wanted to really get a handle on your audio, we're suggesting that you use your watt meter as a VU meter. Put your watt meter on peak to peak, so it'll move fairly quickly. And then watch your watt meter as you speak, and try to keep your watt meter level in the sweet spot. Roger.
Roger. I'll give you a short count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Roger, yes, excellent. And that will immediately show you when you pull off mic like a little bit like that, that meter will drop off, so you want to be into it and keep that meter in the sweet spot. Roger.
Roger. The watt meter is holding itself pretty steady.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much there. And Steve, anything else I can do for you, sir?
No, that covers it. I was just wondering how I sound. I have Parkinson's disease, so my voice trails off, and sometimes I don't speak as loudly as I should, so I sometimes trail off. But thanks for setting me up.
Roger, and keep your eye on that VU meter. Look at it as a, look at your watt meter as a VU meter, indicating your amplitude, and try to keep your voice up and keep that sweet spot, that needle in the sweet spot position. Roger.
Roger, does it, my low pass on low frequency is set at 300, is that okay?
It sounded all right. Tell me, talk to me for about 10 seconds on something. Let me listen one more time.
Roger. I'll let you know I'm from northern Wisconsin, and I've been a ham radio operator since 1979. Got most of my military, my radio experience in the military. Go ahead.
Roger. Yes, I think it sounds excellent. If you would like, we'll be posting this recording up on YouTube in the next couple of days. So if you would like, you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, and that will take you to our QSO-VLOG page. And on that page, you'll be looking for a QSO entitled My Group Aircheck 102519. My Group Aircheck 102519. Roger,
Jim. I did do that last week's broadcast, and I'll do the same thing for this week. So it was pretty good.
Roger. All right, Steve. 3's to you, sir. Have a great afternoon and a beautiful weekend. This is KC9VKV and the Friday Afternoon QSO-VLOG Network. If you've got a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. KC9VKV listening.
Kilo 3 Alpha Charlie.
There's an Alpha Charlie out there, sir. Come back with your call sign again, slowly, phonetically.
Yeah, the call is Kilowatt 3 America, Canada. Kilo 3 America, Canada. Over.
Kilowatt 3 America, Canada. Roger. What's the name there?
Name is Bob. Boston, Boston. Located in the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area. Over.
Roger, Bob. And what kind of radio are you running?
We are running a ICOM 746 Pro. Recently acquired this. But this is our first attempt on sighting, running barefoot. About 100 watts right now. At about the number 3. Goes from 0 to 10.
Well, I'm on the Atlanta, Georgia SDR, and I've got about a 3 dB over there noise level signal on you, so I don't have a real good signal. But if you're interested in fattening that radio audio up a little bit, I suggest setting your compressor on a 3. 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100, 1/3 of the compressor capability. Roger, roger.
Roger, roger. Yeah, that's where we have it set. The compressor is on number 3. We have a little bit of treble boost without a...
Roger, roger. Then move to your ALC. Move to your ALC with mic gain in hand and adjust your ALC to where it's running mid-scale to 2/3. Adjust your ALC by way of your mic gain until the ALC meter is running mid-scale to 2/3. Roger.
Stock hand mic here, so between the low signal strength and the mic, we probably don't have the best audio, but we have everything set based on your suggestion, and wonder how we sound now. Over.
Roger. Sounds good. I don't have a real good copy on you. You are about, wherever I go, you're about 3 dB above my noise, so I'm not real sure what's going on there, but I think I wound up on my local receiver, and you were 3 dB above my noise. I would run it like that. Maybe if the conditions get a little bit better this afternoon, maybe try coming in again. Let me drop down to... I'll drop down to 100 watts, and you'll see what I'm talking about there. That's about 100 watts right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 100 watts, and that's back to the KW. Roger, roger.
Yeah, roger, roger. Yeah, you went from an S9 down to about an S6 to 7. So big difference with the amplifier. Unfortunately, we don't have this radio connected to the amplifier at the present time. So that's likely the cause of the low signal strength. But appreciate you taking us up there and making the suggestion. And just glad to hear that it's working on sideband. A new radio, new to us anyway. It's an older Icon radio, but it seems to be working okay. Okay, we won't hold you up. I'm sure there are others trying to call in. And thanks again for the help. We'll look for you next time. I assume you're on every Friday afternoon around this time, and hopefully next time we'll be a little bit stronger. We have a legal limit amplifier here, so we can do 1 kilowatt plus. Back to you, KC9VKV from K3AC, Pennsylvania.
Roger, roger, Bob. Well, hopefully next time you'll be able to fire up the air conditioner and get a little bit better signal, and then we can tell a little bit more about what you're doing. I could hear you, but I would rather hear you better to be able to prognosticate. You know, a good rule of thumb is that you probably could stand a couple of clicks higher EQ on your treble equalization, a couple of clicks hotter on the EQ from where it stands right now. Roger, roger.
Yeah, okay. This particular EQ, this allows for treble and bass. I just went from a +2 to a +3 on the EQ treble. I don't know if you heard much of a difference. It maxes out at +4, right?
Roger. Yeah, I would run it like that. And if you get a chance, maybe next Friday, check back in with the refrigerator, and we'll compare notes. Roger.
Yeah, well, it's actually a heater. It's a tube amplifier, and it gets a little warm. But yeah, we'll definitely be a lot stronger with the afterburner on. Okay, thanks again. We have it right now at a +3 treble, a 0 bass. Which is the default setting, and we'll just leave it there. Thanks very much. You have a nice afternoon and a nice weekend. KC9VKV from K3AC.
Roger, Roger, Bob 3's that way, sir. Thanks for dropping by. I have a great weekend. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, and the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG network. If you've got a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Kilo Bravo 3 Zulu India Mike.
Kilo Bravo 3 Zulu India Mike.
Roger that, KC9VKV. Here is KB3ZIM. My name is Bob, calling out of southeastern Pennsylvania, very close to the city of Philadelphia. Go ahead.
Roger, now, is that the city of brotherly love?
So named. You watch the news sometimes and you wonder, but yes, so named by William Penn when he founded the city. That's correct. Go ahead.
Roger, and probably like any other large metropolis, 6 dead overnight in shootings. Roger?
Yeah, like a lot of major metropolises, unfortunately. I lived in the center of the city for quite a number of years. I live outside now in a northwestern suburb, but nevertheless, I consider myself still a Philadelphian and love it. So there you go. Back to you.
Roger, Roger. Now, what radio are you running, sir?
I am running an ICOM IC7600, an IC7600, dialing around and heard a few of your QSO, so I thought I would check in. Go ahead.
Roger, Roger. Now, it looks to be needing maybe a little processing to get a little fatter. We want to decrease that dynamic range by about, it looked like it was about 6 dB. So we want to crunch it down to about 3 dB, which will bring your average peak modulation up to 80 to 85%. And it starts with your processor, your compressor, at about 1/3 of its capabilities, about a 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100. Depending on its ID nomenclature on the input side. Roger?
Roger that. Well, I had the compressor set here at, it has when it's activated, it has a wide mode and compressor level, and I have it set right now at the 5 out of 10. So the ALC looks like it may be being overdriven a bit, so maybe I should back the mic down. Go ahead.
Drop the mic back a little bit. I'm getting some shuddering in your audio. It sounds either like the compressors. If you can, I would reduce the compressor input to 1/3 of its capabilities, and so we can just rule out that compressor. Take that compressor to a 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100. That's the ideal place. When you start going up on the compressor, it really doesn't help you. It just starts bringing up the wife beating the kids in the back room, you know?
Roger that. I reduced compression level down to the 3 out of 10. So, it does look like the ALC is still banging up a little bit too much. So maybe I should bring the mic gain down even more. Go ahead.
Well, we're looking for mid-scale to 2/3 on the ALC. So I would adjust your mic gain to where your ALC is running, mid-scale to 2/3, Roger.
Roger that. I'm taking it way down to from where it was before, way down. And I am running, by the way, not a stock mic on this unit, but a Heil PR 781 for a moment there. I couldn't remember which one I was using here. So yeah, PR 781, and I have backed now so that the ALC gain is, mic gain now is indeed about 2/3 skip.
Roger, your audio is really peaky. Your modulation is really peaky, like there is no fattening at all. I'm just wondering why that might be. Try again. Your compressor is running at about a 3. What's your mic level gain?
Well, the mic level gain, judging by the knob position, is 10 o'clock or so. Go ahead.
Roger, that would be right. Now, I'll tell you what we've been suggesting also is, if a person has a representative amplitude signal of their voice, they tend to, try to keep it there. And what we're saying is you can use your watt meter as a VU meter. Put your watt meter in the PEP scale, and you know where the sweet spot is. So when you speak, you want to keep that the meter in that sweet spot on your average audio. Roger.
Roger that. I understand. I have my level. This is a rather a menu-driven adjustable system on single sideband transmit tone. I am running both the treble and the bass at even zero boost or gain on that for SSB transmit tone. Back to you.
Roger. Like I say, our normal tune-up procedure is to bring the compressor up to a third of its capabilities, and then bring the ALC up to mid-scale to 2/3. That usually results in a fairly fat signal with about a 3 dB dynamic range. You're still running at about a 6 dB dynamic range, so it's not fattening up as much as I would think it should. Again, use your watt meter as your VU meter, so when you're speaking, be looking at your watt meter as a VU meter and try to keep that level up to the sweet spot. Roger?
Roger that. Okay, let's see. I am going through some menus here right now, and I can tell you that, the ALC is looking very good here, and as I said, I backed that down to just about 2/3 scale. Now I am, by the way, I am not running barefoot here. I'm running through an amp, an SPE Expert amp, and as I said, just playing around here. The irony is, I heard you doing this, and I thought to myself, well, this weekend I was going to pull out another receiver, and I have never tweaked this mic in particular since I got it and installed it. So you're giving me some interesting observations, which I appreciate a great deal. I'm just going into the compressor settings here, and I have it, stand by, I'm going to check something.
This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor and the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG network. Right now, we're talking to Bob, KB3ZIM in Pennsylvania. Bob? Yes, indeed. Was just checking my compressor settings again. This being very menu-driven, it's something that I've been really checking here. So, anyway, and of course there are some different parameters to check here. Compressor there. I'm going through settings. When the compressor is on, I have wide, mid, and that is mid, and then that is narrow. So I've just manipulated the compressor settings there. dBW indication your bandwidth, I would assume. So there you go. Has that made any noticeable differences? Go ahead. Oh, Roger, yeah, you want to get in that wide mode. You got to stay in that wide mode, like 100 to 2900. You want to be absolutely in that wide mode. It makes no sense to be in any other mode but that wide mode. Even if you're DXing or whatever, if you try to restrict your bandpass, you're cutting off your top-end frequency, and that is attenuating your intelligibility capabilities. In other words, the top end is your intelligibility, and if you restrict your bandpass to a minimum, then you're cutting out all that top end information. Roger? Yeah, roger that. Makes perfect sense, especially when you're DXing. Yeah, and I have listened to people speak on that before, so very, very good. You know, there's a scale
on this transceiver. I'm going to tweak a knob here. Stand by. Okay, let's see here. I cranked the mic gain up for a minute. On this same menu-driven screen, well, the ALC is going way, way high, but there, right beneath that is also a metering for the compression level, and I'm not even hitting it's that particular compression level meter isn't. There's not even a display on it. I would have expected that to be up in the 5 or 10 dB range. Go ahead.
Roger, you may be having an anomaly in your compressor. I would go ahead, just out of curiosity, I would go ahead and take the input control of your compressor up to about halfway to maybe 1 o'clock. If it's a rotary dial, maybe 1 o'clock position, and then talk to me for a minute.
Well, there's a meter scale of 1 to 10 on this, again, menu-driven system, and I went from a 3 to an 8 on compressor level. Go ahead.
Well, I'm starting to see a little fattening going on here. It didn't take much, but tell me about your, give me about 10 seconds or 15 seconds on your antenna system description.
Oh, roger that. I am quite a lengthy coax run. Well, for me anyway, relatively speaking. It's about 175 feet, LMR 400, into an off-center fed window for dipole antenna. The center, the balun is about 45 feet in the air, and it is installed and in an inverted V configuration. Inverted V. So the ends are down, I'm going to say somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 20 feet down from the balun at the center mount. This is KV3ZIM.
Roger, Roger. Now, are you familiar with your equalization controls?
I was on those screens just a few moments ago, so somewhat so, yeah. Again, of course, none of us go there all that often, and I just have never tweaked this mic since I installed it. But indeed, I have parameters available to me to set sideband, AM, and FM transmit tones. Go ahead.
Roger. Well, in the sideband mode, try adding 1 click on the bottom end, just a token amount more bass on the bottom, 1 click on the bottom end, and 2 on the top end. 1 click boost on the bottom end, 2 clicks boost on the top end, and let me hear that.
And so it goes. I went up +1 on the bass, transmit tone bass, and +2 on the transmit tone treble.
Roger, I think that's sounding fuller, and it does seem like your dynamic range is running now about 3 dB, which is what I was looking for, and so that means that your average peak percent of peak modulation is between 80 and 85%, which is what we were looking for. Roger.
Yeah, roger that. The only disturbing thing I see, and it's not really all that disturbing, but my ALC is just about maxing out here, and that's always been a concern of mine about overdriving and clipping and what have you. But I did bump the compression up on the relative 0 to 10 scale. Compression level was at 3, now at 8, I believe, as per your instructions. So how do you think it's going now? Back to you.
Roger, sounding good. Now, you do want to run that ALC mid-scale to 2/3. You don't want to be much hotter than 2/3. So whatever, you need to maybe pull the mic gain down to where your ALC is operating at mid-scale to 2/3. Roger, that's the best we can do there, I guess.
Yeah, okay, very good. Well, I have backed it down now. It is peaking at about 2/3, and as doing as such, as long as I get telling me I'm making the best decision is what I'm running here, that's fine. I would have to say, he's not getting anything by audio, video production, what have you, and music as well. I'm an audio junkie, but I never really paid all that much attention to audio things to amateur radio. Point-to-point voice communication in my home theater. Audio and video production. Different stories, but I never paid that much attention here in amateur radio, although I do recognize different sound audio quality from people with whom I have QSOs. But anyway, yeah, this has been fascinating, and as I said, I was about to get my wife's away this weekend, and I was going to do some little projects, one of them being get one of my other backup receivers out and just monitor my audio and see what I could tweak with this microphone. So, having said that, I've been appreciating...
Frequency is in use, sir.
KC9VKV, here is KB3ZIM.
Roger, Roger, Bob. Well, I think we've done about all we can do right now. Again, I would reiterate to bring that watt meter around, put it in the PEP mode so it'll be fast responding, and use that watt meter as a indicator as to your level. So if you back off your mic or lower your voice a little bit, that meter will drop down. And what you want to do is keep it at the sweet spot if you possibly can. So just concentrate on that meter to try to keep the needle right in the sweet spot. So we'll say 3s for now, and you have a great weekend. And if you get a chance, join us next Friday between 3:30 and 5. We run this frequency and conduct our QSO-VLOG. So 3s for now, and we'll catch you later. This is KC9VKV, and this is the QSO-VLOG network. If you've got a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. We are recording now live till 5. KC9VKV.
Roger that. Thank you very much. And by the way, I did not get your name, and also I believe you said you're recording and you play this back on YouTube, so that would be very cool to see. So can you hit me with the info there before we say free?
Oh, absolutely, Bob. This is Jim, Juliet, India, Mike, Kilo Charlie 9, Victor, Kilo Victor. We're located near Louisville, just across the river from Louisville, Kentucky, on the Indiana side of the Ohio River. Now, as far as the recording, we will be recording now till 5, and if you would like to hear your audio and kind of get the other side of the picture as we were working on your audio setup, if you go in the next couple of days, it usually takes us a couple of days to get it posted up on YouTube, but in the next couple of days, if you go to YouTube, do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. That will take you to our QSO-VLOG page, and you'll be looking on that page for QSO-VLOG entitled My Group Aircheck 10/25/19, today's date. My Group Aircheck 10/25/19. Roger, Roger?
Yes, thank you very much, Jim. I appreciate that. That's very cool. I once I once had a QSO of mine posted on YouTube within a QSO that a gentleman in Puerto Rico had recorded and played back to me, or posted it on YouTube, and I found it quite fascinating. So anyway, I've been here way too long. There may be other people waiting to get in line. One final question: is this what you do every Friday? Is do audio quality checks and tweaking? Go ahead.
Roger, we record live from 3:30 till 5, and then we post that up on YouTube so folks can hear their audio and other people's audio and say, hey, I like my audio a lot better, or hey, I like his audio, so I want to try to manipulate my audio more towards his audio. So we do that, and then we do a little assist on tuning up people's radios on the audio side of their transmit. Roger?
Okay, roger that. And I didn't accurately catch the name. You said it was a net vlog, not net. Was it V as in Victor? Go ahead.
It is. The name is Jim, Juliet, India, Mike. Jim, Juliet India Mike, and this is the QSO-VLOG network. QSO-VLOG network, and the name of the entity that you'll be looking for on our QSO-VLOG page is My Group Aircheck 10/25/19, which is today's date. My Group Aircheck 10/25/19. Roger?
Roger that. I did get your name, Jim, earlier. It was the name of the network. Is it V as in Victor, VLOG? QSO-VLOG. QSO-VLOG. Okay, roger that. I got that clearly now. QSO-VLOG network. Very good. Jim, it's been a delight. I've really enjoyed it. And it's also much better. I'm not a contester. I don't like exchanging call letters and signal reports, and that's it. I enjoy some rag chew, and whether it's technical or whatever. I appreciate it very much. I apologize to everyone out there listening who's been queuing up to get in here. But, boy, it was really wonderful. Thanks, Jim. 73 to you and 73 to everyone there on the frequency. From KC9VKV, this is KB3ZIN7.
Roger, roger, Bob. Keep your eye on the VU meter there and keep it dancing in the sweet spot. 3's to you, sir. This is KC9VKV, the QSO-VLOG for Friday Afternoon Network. And if you've got a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
CQ.
Well, somebody died on their CQ. Try it again. I think somebody just lost their power amp. This is KC9VKV. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor in the QSO-VLOG network for Friday afternoon. If you've got a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. We are recording now live till 5. And if you have a radio that you are curious about the audio, give us a shout. We'll post this recording up on YouTube in the next couple of days. So when you go to YouTube, just do a call letter search for KC9VKV. We'll take you to our QSO-VLOG page. And on that page, you'll be looking for one QSO-VLOG entitled My Group Aircheck 10/25/19. And also, when you are on YouTube, if you subscribe to our channel, you'll automatically receive an email notification each time we upload a new segment. So there you go. This is the KC9VKV. And FYI, this afternoon we are running 4 Internet SDR receivers monitoring Rochester, New York, Atlanta, Georgia, Alexandria, Virginia, and Milford, Pennsylvania, trying to get a better copy on our 100-watt friends. The audio of these 4 SDR receivers comes up on a 6-position rotary switch, and also on this switch is our local receiver. And today our local receiver is running 2 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas, one aimed north and south, the other aimed east and west. They are selected by a 3-position rotary switch. Position 3 is a co-phase option. So we are listening. This is KC9VKV. There we are looking at our local antenna. We are looking at our 2 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas. They are right now, we are running them in the co-phase position. They are oriented north and south and east and west, but they do combine nicely for a co-phase arrangement. And many times I'm amazed that the co-phase configuration actually results in a 3 dB or so increase in signal over either one of the vertical loops by themselves. So these are 2 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas, one angled east and west, the other north and south. KC9VKV in the QSO-VLOG network. looking down at our Atlanta SDR. Atlanta is amazing on that SDR. Many times, even signals that are coming from the north wind up on that Atlanta SDR receiver really, really hot. Not sure exactly why that is, but Atlanta does do a great job as far as catching the radiation patterns of signals coming out of the north. KC9VKV, the QSO-VLOG network. If you've got a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. Station calling. Come back and let me see if I can find a better antenna for you, sir. I got 5H, KC9VKV. Come back with a call sign again, please.
Yeah, Kilo Mike 5 Hotel. Kilo Mike 5 Hotel.
Roger, roger. And what's the name, please?
My name is Tom.
Roger, Tom. Come back and tell me a little bit about your radio, sir.
Okay, this is a Flex 6500. Variation on ZS6BKW. And the only other antenna I've got pretty near is a G5IV Junior, but this will seem to work better. Go ahead.
Roger that. Roger that. And what's your antenna system?
Oh, I just said that. It's a variation on the ZS6BKW antenna. Go ahead.
Roger. Okay. I'm just trying to hear your audio a little bit, sir. You sound like you might be hot into your ALC. I would first off go to my ALC and check the level. You want to be mid-scale to 2/3 on your ALC, and you adjust that by your mic gain control. Roger.
Okay, I adjusted it, and how's that? Is that any better?
Right. Well, you can't really adjust it unless you're in the transmit mode. That's the normal way. Hit transmit and then talk in your regular voice. Adjust your mic gain to where your ALC is mid-scale to 2/3. Roger. I only copy at about 3 dB over my noise level. I'm not sure. You're running 100 watts. Is that a Roger? I have somebody that's about a KC off or something. I think they might be mentally deranged. I'm not sure why they would start a QSO KC off from a signal when the signal is already there. Sir, if you would like move down 3 or 4 KC, be the good thing to do if you would, please. And now, Tom, was that Tom out there? Roger, I'm not got a good copy on you, sir. What is your location again? Repeat again. I'm like I say, I'm getting torn up by this person running a 1 KC off. Try it again, sir.
Okay, I'm in Tulsa.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Tom. We will not be able to communicate. You just do not have enough signal for me to grab onto with this QRM coming from about 1 KC away. Roger, Roger.
Roger, Roger. Well, I've got time, so I'll try to catch you next week and see how it works. Because I think, well, I guess you got 25 minutes, so maybe I can just maybe it'll clear up.
Roger. Now, I might have gotten you a little bit better the last part of the transmission. I did go to my north-south 10-foot mag loop antenna, and it did tend to clear it up just a little bit. Come back and let me hear you one more time. Yeah, I'm sorry, Tom. I didn't copy you at all there. So we'll say 3s for now, and we'll catch you later. Maybe next Friday, if you get a chance, check in, and we'll see what's going on. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, and the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG network. If you've got a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. KC9VKV.
Okay, KC9VKV, this is Whiskey Bravo 2, Papa Delta Whiskey, over.
Roger, Papa Delta Whiskey, what's your name, please?
Oh, okay, it's Vincent, and my location is Cape May, New Jersey, and you got a nice signal here this afternoon at 20 over, and clear, over to you, KC9VKV, WB2TDW, over to you.
Roger, Roger. And what radio are you running today, sir?
Oh, okay. Elecraft K3S, over.
Roger that. Well, sounds real good. What mic?
I'm using a Sennheiser mic. I don't know the number on it, but it's a shotgun mic, about 8 inches long, and I think it's a condenser. I'm running about 500 watts here, and my antenna is a folded dipole up around 40 feet. Over.
Roger. Well, if it's Sennheiser, I'm sure it's a condenser. Don't think they. Well, the only mics I ever heard that they made were condenser mics. Excellent mics at that. And your audio sounds really good. It looks to be about a 3 dB dynamic range, which interpolates to about 80 to 85% average peak modulation. Roger.
Okay, well, that's good enough for me. You're sounding very good also. Your signal came up another 10 dBs. Good propagation. What is your location, over?
We're located just across the Ohio River from Louisville, Kentucky. We're on the Indiana side of the Ohio River, right at Louisville. And we are running, for the transmit antenna, we're running an inverted dipole. And for the receive, we're running 2 10-foot magnetic loop antennas, one oriented east and west and the other oriented north and south. And right now we're on the north and south magnetic loop. Roger.
Oh, okay. Nice setup there. Sounds like you have a little bit of space to do that. I didn't get your name. My name's Vincent. I'm not too far from the ocean. We're here in Cape May, and that's where we're at there. Back to you.
Roger, Roger. I'm copying you 10 dB over my noise level, which is a very good signal. The name here is Jim, Juliet India Mike, and we do run this QSO-VLOG network on Friday afternoons from 3:30 till 5, and recording all the time. So if you would like to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube in the next couple of days and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our QSO-VLOG page. And on that page, you'll be looking for QSO entitled My Group Aircheck 102519. My Group Aircheck 102519. We have about 770 some odd QSO vlogs on the net on our page. Well, not one page, but quite a few pages. But usually YouTube is nice enough to put the latest on page 1. So I would hope that when you go there on page 1, you would find that My Group Aircheck 102519, which is today's date. Roger?
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I'll have to do that and see what I sound like. Thank you for your little bit of work there on YouTube, and keep up the good work there, Jim. I work, I do a lot of work for Mars, U.S. Army Mars, and we're having a communication exercise at the beginning of November. and we're looking for ham radio operators to work 60 meters and back and forth to the Mars frequencies. So if you're interested in working some Mars stations on 60 meters, probably would be a good idea if you'd like to do that. All right, Jim, 73 from Cape May, and wonderful signal, really very nice. KC9VKV, this is Whiskey Bravo 2, Papa Delta Whiskey, off and clear after your final transmission, Jim. Go ahead.
Roger, Roger. Vincent, before you go, if there's a way that you could tell folks how to get a hold of you if they were interested in participating, go ahead.
Well, it would be more than just me. It's our whole Mars region, Region 2. We'll have the communication exercise in our area here. And, well, of course, we'll be using other regions also. I guess you could best find out on the website for U.S. Army Mars would give the information that everybody would have to look for and read about. Over.
Roger. So it's on the internet, and it's the what is the name of the site again?
It's U.S. Army Mars or U.S. Army Auxiliary Mars. Over.
U.S. Army Mars, probably do it there on the internet if some folks out there might be interested in participating in a co-adventure with the military as far as radio communications are concerned. Well, Vincent, thanks for dropping by, sir, and we'll say threes for now. Roger?
Okay, Roger. KC9VKV, WV2PDW, 73, Jim, and thank you. Bye.
Roger, Roger. Threes that way, sir. And this is the KC9VKV QSO-VLOG network. We are recording now live till 5. If you've got a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. KC9VKV. Must be a football game somewhere. Oh, must be a football game or something there. This is KC9VKV, and we are live till 5, about 18 minutes. If you want to check in, get a recording of your radio, that's what we do. KC9VKV.
Kilo Echo 0 Delta Sugar Victor.
Kilo Echo 0, repeat the rest.
Delta Sugar Victor.
Roger, Roger. And what's the location there, sir? Where'd you go? This is KC9VKV. Yeah, I'm still looking to get a better signal on you, sir.
I understand. Propagation around Kansas City right now in Missouri is kind of going and coming on mute right now, too.
All clear, Don, K4YT.
Yeah, was that in Kansas?
Missouri, on the Missouri side, Mike Oscar.
Roger, Roger, Missouri. Well, what's the name?
David, Delta, Alpha, Victor, India, Delta.
Roger, David. Well, welcome to the QSO-VLOG net. I don't believe I've run across your call sign before. Roger, Roger.
Yes, about 2 weeks ago, I'm a blind operator here in Missouri, and haven't had much time to check my Kenwood 590. The Kenwood 590 has different, you talk about compressor, and I think the Kenwood calls it a speech box.
Roger, Roger. Well, somebody is tuning up, some uneducated young person or anyway uneducated is tuning up on frequency. Sir, you did not tune up on an active frequency. You know, go off 2, 3, 4 KC to tune up, please. We are talking to a gentleman in Missouri. Sir, will you come back with your name again, please?
Say it again, Jim. What's your name?
What's your name again, please?
David, Delta, Alpha, Victor, India, Delta.
Roger, David, I've got you there, sir. And so you are blind, and you have been having difficulties in what aspect?
Oh, I'm just trying to get my radio up. I have a Kenwood 590, and I don't get to that. It's modified. We did a field modification and made it better. We changed the map. We got better map on the antenna.
Roger. Well, you know, the thing is, you're doing about 100 watts, would you say?
Yes, definitely 100 watts, 100 watts.
Okay, I'm copying you only about 2 dB above my noise level, so you are making it from Missouri about 2 dB above my noise level, so I'm trying to copy as best I can. Roger, roger. And I can't find a better SDR, so I'm using my east-west mag loop antenna to pull you out there, and about the best signal I can get is about 2 to 3 dB above my noise level. Roger.
Roger. Yeah, the last time we talked, I was just barely above the noise floor. You showed me an example of it on here, and it was like, yeah, you just barely hit it.
David, try coming up on mic. Let me push that radio just a little bit. Come up on mic and let me see if I can pull you out. Roger?
Roger. Okay, this is push a little bit.
Roger, I can copy you just a little bit better, just a little bit. But, you know, I sure wish that you could get one of those solid-state power amps. You know, you don't have to tune those. And, gosh, it would just do wonders for your signal. Roger, Roger.
Roger, do you have any good recommendations?
I sure don't. I don't. You would just have to maybe look around and try to read or try to investigate as best as possible the performances of some of the solid state amps that don't require tuning. Roger, Roger. Roger, David, I'm still having much difficulty in copying you, so maybe I'll say 3s for now, and maybe next week we'll have better conditions. If you hear, kind of take a note of my signal right now, and if that signal looks better to you next Friday, gosh, maybe we'll have some better conditions between us, and so give me a shout then. Roger, Roger. Roger, David. Roger, David, and thanks for checking in. And like I say, maybe next Friday we'll have some better conditions. Do you? Let's see. Do you have a frequency that you normally work, or do you just move around quite a bit? Roger, Roger. Well, we're pretty much full-time on this frequency, just on Fridays. Occasionally, we do a pop-up transmission or air check, but normally it's just Friday afternoons on this frequency between 3:30 and 5. Roger, Roger.
Roger. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. I will go to your YouTube page and listen to see what you're hearing, how you're hearing me. Roger.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, and I hope you know where that is. If you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to the QSO-VLOG page, and on that page you'll be looking for today's transmission and recording, and it is called My Group Aircheck 102519. My Group Aircheck 102519. Roger?
Roger. I will try to do that this weekend and then listen to what I sounded like and when everybody else along the way.
Roger, Roger. Yeah, you'll be able to hear exactly where you are. And like I say, you're about 3 dB above my noise level. So we'll say 3s for now, David, and maybe catch you next Friday. So this is KC9VKV, and this is the Friday Afternoon QSO-VLOG Network. If you've got a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. KC9VKV.
KC9, question mark, this is W3, Charlie Foxtrot, Echo response, get my signal here, this is get your call.
That Charlie 3 Foxtrot, come back with your call sign slowly, phonetically again.
Yeah, it's W3.
Okay, you have slipped into my noise level. You have slipped into my noise level. Let me drop down to 100 watts and give you some idea of what's happening here. This is 100 watts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 100 watts. So you get an idea. And we're back to a KW. Roger, roger. Roger that. Roger that. Well, anyways, that's what I'm saying. You were, maybe a dB and a half to 2 dB over my noise level, so it's really hard to copy. Roger.
Okay. What's your call?
The K3 IMC station, the frequency is in use. Please QSY.
The other station there, the call sign here is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. Roger, roger. All right, sir. I did not copy you on any of my SDRs. Today, we are running 4 SDR receivers for... let me get the right information here. We're running Rochester, New York, Atlanta, Georgia, Milford, Pennsylvania, and Alexandria, Virginia. And I could not copy on any of those, but I did have just a faint copy on my 2 10-foot mag loop antennas. So we'll say 3s for now, and maybe next Friday we'll have some better conditions. Roger, roger. You're under my noise level now, so 3s, and then we'll try it next Friday. This is KC9VKV and the Friday Afternoon QSO-VLOG Network. If you've got a radio you want to check out the audio, give us a shout. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, the Friday Afternoon QSO-VLOG Network. From now until 5, we are recording live. If you've got a radio you want to check out the audio, give us a shout. We are recording, and we are looking on our also 2 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas, one aimed north and south, the other east and west. And we bring them in on a 3-position rotary switch where we can do the east-west or north-south, and then the 3rd position is a co-phase position, and many times I've found that co-phase is hotter than either one of the vertical loop antennas by themselves. KC9VKV.
Alpha Delta 0, Victor Whiskey.
Alpha Delta 0 station, come back with the call sign again, slowly, phonetically.
Alpha Delta 0, Victor Whiskey, Volkswagen.
Roger, roger. What's the name, sir?
Name here is Mike, located in Kansas, near Wichita, Kansas.
Roger, Kansas. Well, gosh, we haven't gone that way since The Wizard of Oz, Roger.
Roger, roger. Well, we just tuned across and heard you there. You sounded mighty good here in Kansas.
Roger, roger. Well, I'm getting you. It looks to be about a 6 over my noise level. About a 6 over. And come back and tell me about your antenna system, sir.
Oh, just pretty basic stuff here. The antenna is simply, I'm on a vertical right now. It's a 670 TV. And we're running a ACOM 1010 amp. We're running 600 watts right now. But the antenna is just a simple vertical.
Roger, doing a great job. You are 8 dB over my noise level, and I am copying you on one of my mag loop 10-foot mag loop antennas. This one is actually the north-south antenna, so it's kind of strange. I would have expected you to be on my east-west, but you're a lot hotter on my north-south. So, you know, but the thing is about magnetic loop antennas, the bigger they are, the less directional that they become, because they have such a big loop size to the frequency that they're working on, Roger.
Oh, roger that, yeah. Well, we don't get on 40 meters a whole lot. We're actually just trying out the little amp here, and I wanted to make sure it was getting out and that the audio sounded okay.
Oh, Roger, and you can't believe how much that amp increases your signal. I mean, it just makes it all possible. I was just copying somebody else in your neighborhood out there in Kansas. They were barefoot, coming in at about maybe 1.5 dB over my noise, and you look to be about 7 dB above my noise, Roger.
Roger. Well, we're glad we're being heard, and I just thought we'd give you a shout and let you know I've got you about 10 over S9 here, about 10 over S9.
Roger. Come back with your call sign one more time, please, sir.
Sure, it's Alpha Delta 0 Victor Whiskey 80VW, handles Mike.
Roger, Mike. We are recording now, FYI. We record on Friday afternoons between 3:30 and 5, and then we post it up on YouTube. So if you would like to hear your audio, if you would go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our QSO-VLOG page. And on that page, you'll be looking for a QSO entitled My Group Aircheck 10/25/19, which is today's date. My Group Aircheck 10/25/19. Roger.
Roger. We'll have to go take a look at that. Appreciate it. Now, I didn't get your handle either there.
Roger. Name here is Jim, Juliet India Mike, and again the call sign is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, and we are located just across the Ohio River from Louisville, Kentucky. We're on the Indiana side of the Ohio River, right at Louisville. Roger.
Oh, Roger. KC9VKV. Very good. Well, I'll move along here. Maybe others that want to talk to you there, but I appreciate you coming back to me, and we'll definitely check out that YouTube site, and did not know about that, so appreciate it. Thank you much. KC9VKV 80VW.
Roger, Mike 3's that way, sir. Have a great afternoon and a beautiful weekend. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor and the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG network. If you've got a radio you want to check out, give us a shout.
Whiskey Bravo 2, Sierra November Juliet.
Whiskey Bravo 2 station, come back with a call sign again, slowly, phonetically.
Whiskey Bravo 2, Sierra November Juliet.
Roger, and what's your location, sir?
Location is coastal southern New Jersey. Over.
Roger, I was trying to get a better antenna on you. I'm copying you about 5 dB over my noise level right now, Roger.
Roger. Appreciate this. Just discovered this service, and this is great. Over.
Roger, what's the name there again?
The name here is Joe, Juliet Oscar Echo.
Roger, Joe, and what kind of radio are you running today?
It's a ICOM 7300. Over.
One of my favorite radios. We'll talk about that in just a minute. What antenna system are you using?
Well, the antenna is rather unconventional. It's a gutter downspout antenna. I've been using it mostly for digital FT8 and very little for voice. And in fact, this was the first voice contact I've made with it.
Roger, now you might explain a little bit. You're hot wiring your gutter system?
That's affirmative. Hot wiring the gutter system, and I'm pushing right now 100 watts. Over.
Oh, gosh. Let me applaud your antenna tuner, Roger.
I'm using an MSJ 139 for the antenna tuner. Over.
Doing a really good job. Really good job. That last transmission, you were 6 dB over my noise level. Now we have a setup procedure for your 7300. Looks like you're doing pretty well. The only thing I would suggest is consult your ALC with the mic gain in hand to be sure that your ALC is running mid-scale to 2/3. We also do recommend that you run your processor, your compressor, at about a 3 out of 10. Just a token amount, a 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100, about a third of its capabilities. Roger, Roger.
Roger, received. I'm checking the ALC is just about the middle of the scale right at this time. Over.
Roger. I would put that between mid-scale and 2/3. That has to do with your dynamic range, and we're looking for about a 3 dB dynamic range, which usually occurs when you run your ALC at mid-scale to 2/3. Roger.
Roger. I really appreciate the tips. Looking at the comp right now, and that looks to be at about a 6. Over.
Roger, sounds good. I don't hear it pumping. That's the main idea. When you hear a compressor sucking up between words, it's not adjusted correctly. You don't, by the time you're sucking up the wife beating the kids in the next room, you're running way too much compression, and it's not really helping your average percent of peak modulation. Because we're talking peak modulation, and, once that compressor flattens down when you start to speak, that peak is there. The only thing left to do is when you see speaking between words, it tries to suck up noise. That's too much compression. I found about a third of its capability does just about all that you could expect a compressor to do. Roger.
Roger, really appreciate the tips, and going to work on this during the week, and maybe try again with you next Friday. Over.
Roger, Joe. Now, you're running the stock hand mic, is that a Roger?
That's correct, Roger.
Okay, so now you want to take into consideration that you need to work that stock hand mic from the side, not directly into that hand mic. Pull that mic to the side of your face, right to your lips to the side, and talk across it. Otherwise, you get a lot of plosives and stuff. What we recommend, that's what we recommend, is to run that mic to the side of your mouth and talk across it. And one step better than that would be to go to your local music store and get yourself a little windscreen that would fit right over that mic, and that would solve 100% of any possibilities of any mouth noises. Roger?
Roger. I've been speaking on the mic to the side, so I'm not sure if I can improve it any more than that, but the screen sounds like a good idea. Over.
Oh yeah, the screen is just beautiful, because it just solves all of the mouth problems. You can work that mic any way you want to work it with that windscreen on, and it'll be perfect. Roger?
Roger. Thanks again for the tip. And anything else you want to add? Over.
No, well, there's one other tip in that today we're talking about using your watt meter as a VU meter. In other words, if you put your watt meter in the PEP position so it moves fairly quickly, and turn that watt meter to where you can see it when you're talking, then what you want to do is as you talk, you want to try to keep that watt meter needle in the sweet spot position. Use your voice level control as you look at the meter to try to keep that needle up in the sweet spot position. Roger?
Roger, got it. Very good. Trying to make notes as we speak here.
Roger, Roger. Well, gosh, I'm rapidly turning into a pumpkin, man, so usually we just run to a 5. Roger, Roger?
Roger, got it. Over.
Roger. So let me say threes for now. I really enjoyed it. If you get a chance, like I say, go to YouTube and do that call letter search. Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor. That will take you to our QSO-VLOG page, and you'll be looking for one QSO entitled My Group Aircheck 102519. Roger?
Roger, got it down. I'm going to check it later. Will be clear. Thank you very much. Over.
Roger, Roger. Threes to you, sir. You have a real good afternoon and a great weekend. This is KC9VKV, and that will conclude our Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG network transmissions. We have enjoyed it immensely. Hope you have, and for all that participated, thanks so very much. And if you get a chance to join us back next Friday between 3:30 and 5, where we do it all again, record all the time, and then post it up on YouTube within the next couple of days. So we'll say threes for now. Catch everybody later. This is KC9VKV, clear.